purveyors here in Colorado. Yeah. And anytime that we can find a chef that does, I mean, literally everything right, totally scratch restaurant here, Bin 707, Chef Josh, it's remarkable the things that you're doing. And I think a lot of people say, Grand Junction, what? This doesn't really make sense. Talk about that just for a minute.
Well, we found ourselves here, my wife and I found ourselves here 10 years ago, and just saw it as an opportunity to really showcase what's here. Mm-hmm. You know, this is kind of before everybody was sourcing local, but the fact of the matter is this was already Colorado's wine country, and all of that farmland was already in use, but nobody was really showcasing. So we just took the opportunity to use that as a way to put together a restaurant, drive our menu.
Yeah, I love it. Well, and that's like, listen, what you've done, Josh, your program here. I mean, the fact is, yeah.
Which blew my socks off, especially with the space that you're working with. And a lot of restaurants, you work with different spaces, you know, and you try and do the best that you can. But truly, I think every inch of this space that you have is fully executed correctly. I mean, I really don't know what more you could possibly do. And then when you showed us your prep kitchen, where you're making ingredients from scratch, you didn't get to check that out, Alex. Oh, it's maybe so later. Cool downstairs. And we've got some video that we're live on Facebook, so you're going to want to tune into our Facebook feed tonight because we're going to show you delicious food. We're going to show you clips from the wine festival. We're going to show you clips from right here at Bin 707, but also you have another project right down the street, Josh.
Yep, that's right. We've got taco party and dinner party. Kind of to manage the demand that we've had with Bin 707 Foodbar and the success we've seen, I mean, almost 10 years now. We did a kind of quick service, counter service taco shop 2 blocks away. So really easy to get in and out of, same ethos, a little bit different style of food for sure, but trying to, you know, showcase what we have regionally, both Josh, cuisine and products.
It kills me when you say the taco shop.
Yeah,
it's so far elevated from that, my friend. That place is awesome.
A little elevated from there, but that's what it's supposed to be. It's a counter service taco shop that's unlike anything else I'm familiar with anywhere.
You mentioned ethos. Talk about your ethos and really truly what you believe in, and then I think we can have a great conversation around it.
Yeah, sure. Well, so we started by writing the mission statement. The mission statement said that we're local first, Colorado second, domestic third. And we've had to kind of do some edits to that through the years, bring in some imported wines and whatnot just to sort of round out our program. But the idea was that we could serve ingredients from as close to us as possible.
What's local to you? Is there a perimeter, a radius?
Well, we started as saying local is Mesa County. And then Mesa County's kind of expanded into western Colorado. And then we added Colorado, so if it was not local, it's from Colorado. So then that brings in, you know, like for instance, right now we've got some stuff on our table. For instance, there's this charcuterie from Chad at Elevation, you know. That's local to Denver, and he's doing an absolutely incredible job, and it's some of the best products available in the country. That's local via Colorado, but not necessarily local to our backyard.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm just as far from Salt Lake City here as we are from Denver, so it almost kind of opens up that into more of a region, and that concept of what we're doing regionally, I think, has really been the driver of the restaurant, is trying to regionally identify where we are in the world, what we have to work with, and then write a menu that can showcase that.
Interesting. Let's back up. Where are you from?
I'm a fourth-generation Denver.
Are you really?
Yeah.
No kidding. What part of town did you grow up in?
I grew up southeast. I graduated from Denver Academy. I started at Cherry Creek High School. And I started cooking downtown Denver at Old Chicago on Market Street in the early 90s. Stayed with Larimer Group for years.
Yeah, that was back in the day. It was Rock Concept. Yeah. Concept One back in those days.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He worked for Frank Day himself.
Frank and Gina. Yeah. Oh, yeah, back in the day. It was great. Moxie was running around there. And
exactly.
That whole crew back in those days. I'm surprised we didn't run into each other back then, Josh. That's too funny.
That was the good old days. And, you know, when the Larimer Group actually owned and ran all their own restaurants. And I kind of bumped back and forth between those restaurants for years. And eventually moved in the front of the house, moved all over the state. And my wife and I moved here in 2007 for 2 years with a plan to move back and take over running some of the restaurants that I was working. I was working for Sean Yance at the time, working with Jesse Moriali, and the recession hit, and we said, you know, we kind of have an opportunity here to do something new and do something different, and we acted on that and built this restaurant based off that concept of we can do something for our own economy and help rebuild our own economy in an area that was completely driven by oil and gas after the recession turned out. And fast forward 10 years, we are in the middle of the agricultural hotbed of the state of Colorado, which is kind of running the charge of the local sourcing for the country.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
I really do. And those that are in the know, I mean, this is a belt. We love to come through this region, and also Palisade, and we have friends that we visit, whether it's over there at the Black Bear. And
Jess and Scott at Field to Fork, which is one of the early connections Josh and I had.
Really?
Way back then is the fact is it's that conundrum for the small farmer, and I'm sure, and it's awesome we have Blaine here tonight too.
We're going to bring Blaine on here in the next segment, and we're also going to look at some of this video that Jay, what's in this video?
Food chefs, taco party, and Bin 707 food bar. And yeah, I mean so I took a little tour.
Did you say
707
or 707?
Well, O is a letter and 0 is a number. So
Coming from the technical guy, I believe you, Jay. Wherever you go with it.
I know. I have a hard time.
It's about
doing
6 minutes long.
6.5, yeah.
And here's.
And it's a little tour. It's a tour. So it's a tour of Bin 707 Food Bar, or Bin Food Bar, as I like to call it. And then Chef Josh and I took a little walk down and had a taco party, and so got a little B-roll of Josh strutting down the street. But and in a nutshell, it's a little tour of each place and showing what they do.
All right, so get your phones ready. If you're listening to us over the radio, why don't you tune on over into Facebook so that you can check this out. We'll take a break.
Pull over, please, if you're going to watch it.
Well, you don't have to be driving. You can watch it later, too. It's always archived if you want to check back and see it. But the food is amazing. And when we talk about what the modern eater loves so much, and Alex says you've spent a little bit of time with us, and last night we had a great dinner, too. But often when you see places like this, it amazes me how chefs a lot of times start out with the best intentions. And just life and costs and in a business to where margins are so small to be able to turn $1 off of doing this, that a lot of times their products get bastardized just because of time.
True.
Truly because of time. And that's something that no shortcuts, huh, Josh? No shortcuts.
None at all.
It's like on or off.
It's kind of there's
no gray area.
The best part and worst part all at the same time of our mission statement is that we're always supposed to be serving the best products that we can, which means there are no shortcuts. It's not part of the business model.
Cool.
Isn't it insane? Because the ingredients, when you get those good ingredients, and especially I think this hyper-local thing of what you've created here, Josh, and I mean, I even would consider Utah for you still really hyper-local. I mean, seriously, there's a farm you could probably get from one farm down here in Basalt that's farther away.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Than, Utah right there. And if somebody's doing it right, and I think that's what it's about is and that's what I'd say, so much more than food here. Mm-hmm. It's about community, culture. It's traditions.
That. We'll break off. Greg Hollenbach, Brian Freeman, Jay Parker, Alex Liberati, Chef Josh Niernberg here with us. And we're just going to break off. We're going to come back, and we're also going to talk to some partners that you've brought here for us today to speak with of products that you're so proud of to show off. And that's really what it's all about. If you're doing things like this, we want to come highlight you. This is a treat for us, and the food is absolutely delicious. So we'll break off right now from Bin 707 Food Bar and come right back to Grand Junction in a moment here on the Modern Eater Show.
Choose path through Cyberland.
Don't forget to check us out on Instagram and Facebook for all the fun photos and videos. Just search The Modern Eater or check out the website, themoderneater.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
It may not be stomach issues.
For me, it's intense gas, or pain, or diarrhea, sometimes all at once, over and over.
I spent years with the symptoms, but could never figure it out.
No matter what I did, they never went away. So I decided to break it down for my doctor and get really specific about my symptoms.
We discovered that exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI, may be the reason for my stomach issues.
EPI is caused by my pancreas. It leads to diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, unexplained weight loss, and oily stools. The symptoms just don't go away.
But EPI can show up with even one symptom.
The good news? EPI is manageable.
But to get to the right diagnosis, you have to break it down for your doctor and get specific about the severity of your symptoms.
Visit identifyepi.com to learn more and use the symptom checker to help change the conversation with your doctor. Brought to you by AbbVie.
How is it that apps can help you with everything? Your steps, your sleeping patterns, the traffic. But you pay for car insurance that's based on, well, who knows what? The way everyone else drives? The insurance company's whim? Well, that's what Nobler Insurance is here to fix. Car insurance with personalized monthly rates and rewards based on how much and how well you drive. No mysterious rates or mumbo-jumbo from an insurance agent that you're pretty sure is taking advantage of you. The Nobler app can measure things like how hard you brake and whether you're texting and driving. I know, you'd never do that. To things like daily mileage, to time of day, and even road choice. Do you head out on the highway or take the old town road? The bottom line, Nobler bases your personal monthly rates and rewards on how you drive, not everyone else, which means good drivers can save a lot of money. Nobler is simply smart insurance for smart drivers. So get your quote at Nobler.com. That's Nobler.com.
Individual savings may vary. Must meet eligibility requirements to bind a policy.
So what's the deal with Belgian beers? Why are they so popular? Well, for starters, Belgium is a country the size of Maryland that produces more than 800 different beers, the greatest number of original beer styles on the planet, and they are amazing. At Brews Beers, badass Belgian-style beers are our thing, and we do them like no one else. All the classics like doubles, triples, quads, and wit beers, plus our own Belgian-inspired creations, sour beers, fruit beers, and wood-aged beers. Brews Beers is at 67th and Pecos in Midtown. We have food trucks daily, or bring in whatever you like, including your dog, who is always welcome inside or outside on our large patio. Check us out on social media or on our website at brewsbeers.com. That's Brews Beers, B-R-U-Z, at 1675 West 67th Avenue, just 10 minutes north of downtown. The place to go for badass Belgian-style beers.
Hey, it's Greg Hollenbach. Anymore these days, when I go out to eat, I not only want to eat delicious food and drinks, but I also want to eat where I know my money is going to a local restaurant that I believe in. I believe in the Goods restaurant on Colfax and Mark Whistler. The Goods is a community restaurant and bar with a menu focusing on vegan, vegetarian, gluten-free, and keto options. Comfort food lovers, try the best burger on planet Earth. I love it. 8 ounces of grass-fed beef and never, ever any hormones, antibiotics, or steroids. The Goods is truly a cultural melting pot, a family restaurant open to all. Their bar program is amazing. Saddle up at their long, luxurious bar, have a nice craft beer or a cocktail. Like their Facebook page and stay up on amazing events and specials going on throughout the week. Located on East Colfax, directly connected to the Tattered Cover Bookstore, across from East High School with free parking in a garage in back. Look them up online, thegoodsrestaurant.com. I'll see you at the Goods.
Hey, Colorado. This is Brian Freeman, owner of Growers Organic and a host on the Modern Eater Talk Show. Growers Organic is a Colorado sourcing company who provides Colorado's greatest chefs with the best organic produce. I've been partnering with local and regional farms for the last 20 years, and our returning customers know they can count on us over and over again. Chefs who receive the highest rating on Good Food 100 choose Growers Organic for their organic produce needs because we're experts at bridging the gap between the farm and the table. Join us in the organic revolution and go organic with Growers Organic. Look us up online at growersorganic.com.
Wear black and eat spices. Hey, Modern Eater.
Greg, you gotta
Zach from the Spice Guy.
do your
Colorado's
display
favorite
again.
Spice company. Spice is the variety of life. At the Spice Guy, we have a passion for sourcing the best ingredients from the best farmers all over the world. Choose from thousands of different GMO-free spices and ingredients, or let us create and blend custom flavor profiles for whatever style of food it is.
I mean, I can play it off of here too,
Over 1,000 restaurants, food
you know
brands,
that.
and chefs behind
But
us,
if you have
can't
something
go
else
wrong
that you
when you
wanted to
choose the
show,
Spice Guy for all your spice needs. The Spice Guy.
Spicy.
Born in Breck, raised in Denver.
TheSpiceGuyCo.com.
Hey guys, it's Carly Smith, the Fairy Godmother here. Don't get too excited. Live from Studio Kitchen, Colorado. I love your gut. Listening to the Modern Eater Show on iHeartRadio.
You're hot.
Make some bone broth.
There we go. Cool. That's a local girl, Miss Carly Smith, the fairy godmother, who lives right here in Grand Junction. She's going to a concert tonight, Brian.
Oh, yes, she will be at Modest Mouse with actually our friends from Field to Fork. Scott and Jess are going to Modest Mouse here. And, and I was really shocked because one of my buddies called me and said, hey, I've got a front row seat for this. Do you know anyone who lives in Grand Junction? And I'm like, just happen to be here right now.
Yeah, that's how that works.
And, but I love the fact you guys get bands like that. I mean, did you guys get like some talent here in town, or what? Is this a fluke, or
it's new? It's not necessarily a fluke. We investing a ton into trying to activate our river right here in Grand Junction, right? So we're activating our river. We built an amphitheater. We are now trying to bring in larger and larger scale talents. So the last couple of months, we've really started to see a pretty big turnover in the quality of talent we're getting in, which is just awesome.
That is, man. I got to tell you.
We had, I think Dave Chappelle was here a couple of weeks ago, which is, small.
Yeah, he's a boring guy.
Yeah.
Super cool. At Ben's 707 Food Bar here in Grand Junction, Chef Josh Niernberg here along with Greg Hollenbeck, Jay Parker, Brian Freeman, Alex Liberati, and we're going to bring on some great purveyors of products that Josh does business with. And we're going to show you a little video here. But the point on Grand Junction is, here it is, guys, the more and more, and I talked to Carly Smith about this too. You think, back in the day, and you being a Denver guy, generations, Grand Junction was kind of the giggle joke, a truck stop on the way to Denver. Now more and more, the saturation, people loving Colorado, it's kind of this undiscovered spot that's being discovered because, let's face it, you're close to skiing. You're close to you're in striking distance of Vegas. You're really centrally located, even more so than Denver.
Nothing to see here. Nope.
Nothing
to see here at all.
Hey, go away.
You just reinforced a point I made the other day. We were doing a show and someone said, "Do you always tell your friends where the best place is?" You speak softly, I think, when you tell your friends where to go, because you're like, I don't want it to blow up in some respects. You want your friends to go experience something good, but guess what, man? If you have a house in California, you should enjoy it and stay there. Because Colorado's a beautiful place.
Man.
Oh, wait. Are you from California there, wild man?
Hey, listen, whatever happened to USA? You know what I mean? Like, we're all in this together. You want to come down from over here or come in from over there? I mean, as long as you're not committing crime or stabbing anybody, come on out, have a good time, enjoy Colorado.
Coming from Italy these days. Do you believe that? It's completely ridiculous.
Well, now that's different.
Anyways, there's space here. We haven't ruined traffic in Grand Junction.
I think I saw some other cars on the street earlier this week. I almost commented that we had traffic at a stoplight, a single stoplight.
Yeah,
oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah. I got to tell you, it's looking more and more appealing to me. I mean,
hey, guys, what's the population down here or over here?
100,000?
Yeah, we're about 100,000 in Grand Junction, the surrounding areas.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that's grown, hasn't it? I mean, it hasn't been that way.
It's not growing fast. It's growing. I would say it's growing slowly. We're maybe 15, 20,000 since I've been here in almost 10 years.
Okay.
So, yeah.
It is a beautiful place, folks, I'll tell you. For me, it's the High Plains Desert. You're more of like the High Mesa Desert over here, I feel like. It's just gorgeous. I mean, you were talking about a company that is just growing a flower, right? I mean, you were saying this, gosh, and all of a sudden it's escaped because someone asked me for juniper berries the other day, and I'm going to go ask one of my farmer friends to go pick some juniper berries. But it's, what was it, lavender?
Lavender, yeah.
Right, you work with a little local lavender farm.
Yeah, we work with a farm called Sage Creations that focuses primarily on different kinds of lavender, both culinary and otherwise. And their kind of secondary business is this organic farm that just does specialty produce stuff, and they do a killer job.
Let's take a little tour.
I think that's an awesome. Okay, yeah, let's do that because that's an awesome lead-in though to Blaine down here, and Blaine's tomato and farm stand.
Yeah, I know.
So,
hang tight, Blaine.
Blaine's famous tomatoes.
We're gonna have Josh introduce you here in a moment, but let's watch a little video. I think this is cool. Are you all set and ready to go, Jay? All right. So those of you that are listening, head on over to our Facebook and check out this video along with us. And Chef's gonna talk about. There he is, Chef himself. Oh, that's cool.
So this is last night at about 5 o'clock walking into the restaurant, maybe 5:30, something like that. So this is sort of the calm before the storm as we're walking into the restaurant. The restaurant's maybe 60 seats, 14 patio seats. This is our Jimmy Nardello. We do a fondue. That's Danielle. She's been here for about 8 years. She's our CDC.
That dish was...
So those are the Jimmy Nardello peppers with a cheese fondue that we do a little flambe. Finish with a Palisade peach gastrique and sesame seeds.
He gave Jay a little wink. There you go. Hey, how you doing?
Oh, there's a nice burger.
So that's our bin burger. That's our driver. That thing is, we wanted to have something on the menu from day one that's totally accessible to anybody. We put a burger on the menu, and it rules. It is super good. People love it.
What's the price point on that burger?
When we opened, it was $10. We're up to $14 in 10 years. My cost of goods on it has tripled.
I'll bet.
Yeah. But that's a great price. So I'll tell you, Josh, $14 for a burger is a great price.
Yeah, and it's.
I'll tell you, I know what kind of beef you're using.
That's right.
And that is a great price for organic.
I don't know what
an organic.
Where are you
standard USDA certified organic, USDA prime Colorado beef.
Colorado fed, Colorado
fed.
Processed.
Yep.
The farmer grows all the feed for the animal that he's using on that beef.
What's this dish?
That's our elk tartare. It's elk and smoked beets.
Right in front of
Yeah, right on the table. You should have eaten some.
It's puffed beef tendon, a soft egg, some frisee, and sunflower petals that Blaine grows for us.
Don't forget to check us out on Instagram and
What happened
Facebook
there?
Hello.
for fun photos and videos.
Jared
Just
must have had
search
a
the
small
Modern
stroke back in the
Eater or
station.
check out the website.
Jared, are you there?
What's going on, buddy?
Tell if you guys went to break that one time, and then I heard you like kind of describing things, and I was like, I hope they're not doing this over Facebook and think that I'm still doing this over the air. So
it's symbols when they're.
I thought you threw to it at first, and then I kind of just let it go.
No monkey.
I think we're confused. Are we in commercial right now?
Yeah, you are right now.
So, how much of that got on the air?
See why independent research by
A lot.
3 times.
We wanted it on the air.
Why are we in commercial?
Okay, because I didn't know you were like describing things, and I thought you were just doing it over Facebook.
Now at CVS
Nobody.
Pharmacy,
Oh.
you can earn up to 50
We're doing
extra
a
bucks
show.
rewards each year.
Okay.
So
Which
we're
means
in
the
the
medicines you
second
take
break
to
at
stay
the 30 break.
Might also
Yep.
for the health of your wallet.
All right.
visit
So
your
don't go
local
to break
CVS
unless I
pharmacy,
go to
sign
break.
up and start earning up
Okay.
rewards on prescriptions. Terms and conditions apply. Not valid on all prescriptions, including those purchased at.
I mean, like describing things over the radio, I just thought you were just doing it on the Facebook video. So.
We were describing a video on Facebook.
Okay.
It's your pizza guy here, Jason McGovern with Crush Pizza and Tap right here in Denver, Colorado. With your help, let's make pizza great again. Come into Crush Pizza and Tap for our award-winning pizza,
Well, that's
wings,
live radio,
and local
fellas.
beer. But we're serving up 3 styles of pizza for you to crush. Dig into our Chicago deep dish with sauce on top of the cornmeal crust. And don't forget about our Sicilian, that's right, with cheesy crisp edges and that soft crust. Don't forget about America's Pizza. How could you do that? Crush Pizza and Tap's hand-tossed pizza will take your taste buds back to that neighborhood pizzeria you loved as a kid. You like deals? Come in and mention the Modern Eater and get a buy one, get one free on our hand-tossed pizzas any day of the week. Man, that's good. Lastly, don't forget to crush our award-winning smoked wings. They're Little Rich approved and loved by everyone. Crush Pizza and Tap's conveniently located at 1200 West 38th Avenue, just minutes from downtown. Come and crush pizza with us. We've been making pizza great again since 2012. It's Crush Pizza and Tap.
Want to bake the best? Bake with the best. Little Rich here from Rockalitas Tortillas and the Modern Eater. Our wraps fold cold and don't break open, yet they're soft and delicious. What's my secret? Ardent Mills. Organic, ancient, and heirloom grains like quinoa, spelt, and more. Locally headquartered in Denver, Colorado, Ardent Mills provides the industry's broadest range of traditional and organic flours, whole grains, customized blends, and specialty products dedicated to providing the culinary industry with the next grains and unique plant-based ingredients. I love Ardent Mills, and I know you will too. To bake the best, you must use the best. Learn more at ardentmills.com.
Listen up, barbecue lovers. Greg Hollenbach here for Proud Souls Barbecue and Provisions. Proud Souls is Denver's authority of all things barbecue. Do you rule your neighborhood with the best backyard barbecue? From beginners to pit masters, Proud Souls has all the equipment you could possibly want. A variety of wood, pellet, and charcoal grills and smokers. Award-winning pit masters and owners of Proud Souls, Dan and Tony, have a passion for barbecue, and it shows. Located on 25th and Federal, Proud Souls retail store is bursting at the seams with your barbecuing essentials, the Spice Guy spices, and superior flavored fuels for your pit like hickory, mesquite, oak, pecan, cherry, apple, peach, maple, grape, and a variety of blends. Hit their website, ProudSoulsBBQ.com, for delicious hands-on barbecue classes and get information on current promotions and deals. For the best in barbecue, locally owned and operated on 25th and Federal, there are guys. Proud Souls Barbecue and Provisions. That's ProudSoulsBBQ.com.
Yo, what's up? This is Justin Brunson, Ultra Meat and Cheese in Denver Central Market. I'm a meat guy. And you're listening to the Modern Eater Show on the iHeartRadio.
Okay, cool. Back at it. I think that back in the station, Jared thought that we were just trying to describe something on Facebook. I don't know what the confusion was, but we're back now. We're going to revisit that video because it really deserves to be seen and talked about. And again, in Grand Junction right now, the Modern Eater, we love being on the road. And this is a cool one because Bin 707 Food Bar and Chef Josh, we're going to go through some of your purveyors and guests that are here. While they're coming over to the microphone, set the stage of who we're about to talk to.
So we're going to talk to Matt and Emma from Farm Runners, who have started a pretty cool little farm distribution here in western Colorado that we've been a game changer to be able to work with them. We were previously sourcing 100% of our products, trying to figure out how to bring them into the store, whether it was farmer to store or what have you. And the business model that Emma and Matt have put together allow us to work with farmers from all over the state. They give us an availability. We can work with the farmer through them. We can work with them independently and literally bring us some of the best products in existence anywhere weekly.
We're talking about you guys.
Yes, and this awesome model
Emma,
that you
Matt,
have.
Emma, welcome to the show. Good to have you. I'm Greg. This is Brian. You know this chef right here. Talking about all the good stuff that is here, and you guys serve a very integral part of that.
Yeah, we do. We work with about 80 farmers in the height of the season, from fruit growers to produce growers to dairy and meat, but all within 100 miles of Hotchkiss. So everything's super fresh. We don't have anything in a warehouse ever. Everything is custom harvest for people like Josh at Bin.
Wow! How do you pull that? How do you pull that off?
It's just knowing people, knowing the right people.
Yeah.
It's all about relationships.
Sure.
Honestly, the way that we started our business was we were farming and we knew the farmers. Their kids, their dogs, their birthdays, their anniversaries. We just knew them. And we knew what they grew and know what they grow and what they grow the best of. And when we call in a panic because Josh wants 15 pounds of gooseberries next week, it's like we know who to call because they don't tell us that they have it, but we know who grows it. Mm-hmm. And so we're able to call and say, hey, we know who wants those.
Yeah, got a big Rolodex, huh?
Yeah, it's a lot of logistics.
Well, what I love about you all is that you're doing it just part of the year. And there's so much other work that I'm sure you're doing year-round because a lot of it is planning.
Yeah.
I got to believe at some level working with these restaurants and chefs over the winter and planning on this is what we can do for you next year and setting it up year after year. I mean, I love it because it's where I started and then realized if I sold to the big grocery stores, I had to have stuff year-round for them.
Yep.
And so I had to go further, which was hard because, at first it was Growers was a place of just local farms, and that's why I admire what you both do, Matt and Emma. So thank you for really carrying that torch. It's awesome.
Yeah. It's a model that works, obviously, but are there changes that you would like to – do you find a need that maybe working with grocery stores or?
Honestly, we have so much more demand than we have supply. We need more farmers. Bottom line, more farmers. And there's just so much more supply that is needed. And having local farmers, young farmers that can actually make it is really hard. Land prices are really expensive. It's a really hard thing to get into. And so for us, one of our main goals in our mission statement was to help support new and up and coming farmers because it's really hard entry.
She brings up something really interesting, Greg. I want to elaborate on this. I was at the Actually, it was interesting. Yesterday at the National Stock Show, or Thursday, was the German Ag and Tech farm, and we had some of the guys from Roots and Shoots there. I'm sure you know, and Troubadour Farm as well, who are growing hops, and they were talking about what you just said. Is that they felt that the barrier to entry was too expensive for a lot of small farmers, and I found that interesting though, because on the Front Range, there's an abundance actually, and in Boulder County, you can find land to rent. Because a lot of people have come in and bought land. What you can't find is people who actually want to work it.
Yes.
So that's why I bring that up, because I wonder if that's an issue out here too. It's more about, really, they were saying, that they felt that the youth wasn't getting into farming. And I disagreed, because I know so many in like the Front Range. Maybe the barriers are a little cheaper. I'm not sure. But what would your take on that? Do you think it's too expensive to actually start farming, or do you think that it's just people don't have the right work ethic anymore, and they're prepared for it?
Probably a little of both.
Yeah, I was going to say a little bit of both. I think that a lot of folks, there is a large barrier to entry, and on the Front Range, like, I can only imagine the land prices, because Hotchkiss, Paonia, the land prices have just increased incredibly from what they have been when we moved there 8 years ago. But yeah, I think that there is also this work ethic that it's a lot of work. Farming is a lot of work. And I think that there is not as much demand, but I mean, we have, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 people that have called us in the last year that want to move back to our area and need a place to farm, and there's just nowhere to do it. And so they're looking for those places, but they don't have the finances. And they're coming to us as a business owner, like saying, hey, could we partner with you and have you purchase land that we could farm for us directly? And, it's a thought that we've had, but we're also in that. We're 5 years in, and we're still in that building up phase.
Well, and you need to stick to what you know, and that's hard, because I ran into that a lot early in the beginning of Growers. Is you consult with people who are landowners out here to sort of build up, hey, by the way, if you have land that you're sitting on, if you want to go organic, if you want to change the way or more sustainable growing practices, and so it's interesting, because in a way, is there that need? We're doing a ag fest, I say fest, I don't know why I keep saying that, but it's a food and ag summit down in Pueblo on October 2nd with a bunch of politicians, because Pueblo is dying, and you guys have. I'm so impressed with what I'm seeing, because this town doesn't look like it's dying. When I went to Pueblo, it's a beautiful town, but it's dying, and you guys are growing. So it's really interesting. But that's one of the big things that we're talking about is why doesn't anyone want to utilize the land that they have down there? Because they have a ton, some of the best water rights, the Bessemer dish down there, and so it's opposite. Like, if I could take a bunch of young farmers and move them down there, they have the land to work, where here you don't have the land. And so it's interesting, because
I think it's also about community, people that, like Josh, that support those farmers. It's about the hype and the community and the excitement. And if that's not existent, then why would I move to Pueblo, In Paonia, there's this excitement and fever that's just coming in, and you're excited, and there's people that are doing stuff with it, and it's like happy, you bring them a thing of plums or grapes or whatever, and they just get this light in their life, and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm going to make XYZ with it, and it's awesome. But if there's not that excitement there, then it's like, why would I grow it?
Yeah. Not to get too far in the weeds, but this is reminiscent of a couple of weeks ago when we were in La Junta.
Monte Vista. Yeah, Monte Vista.
Colorado.
At the Potato Fest,
And just talking about how difficult, it was truly like we were in a 1980s movie. There was no new cars on the street. It was very humble,
we walked back in
very
time.
Poor. It was back in a lot of agriculture, a lot of people working with the land. And it just struck me as so sad, because here's the food and beverage, and we bring this to, all the way through the cycle, from the farms to the restaurants to the consumer. And something needs to happen to generate more farmers, to generate more excitement, to care more about preventive medicine rather than reactive medicine. And this is the way we do it. And you brought up a great point of, I said, I'd like to. We talk about universal health care and all these. We need to subsidize farms and farmers.
Well, good
and
farms.
incentives.
Because we're subsidizing the wrong kind of agriculture right now.
But I have to disagree. I wouldn't subsidize.
Okay.
Like
Well,
a business.
Incentives.
Okay, incentives.
Incentives of saying, okay, we're going to give you a tax break if you want to get into this, an income tax. What was the idea that you
She's
had?
shaking her head, and Emma's so passionate.
Yeah,
I want to hear more from her. Let's hear it, Emma.
I just think that, a farm that really wants to be a farm can be a farm, and they can sustain themselves. And, the North Fork Valley has been in agriculture. The Grand Valley has been in agriculture for centuries. There is no need for us to subsidize the farmer, and the farmer doesn't want to be subsidized. They just want to run their business. What we need to do is change our culture and change our mindset around food and have people care about it and really pour the health and the wellness of our bodies and the wellness of our communities into that and really change the perspective of food rather than subsidizing, I'm going to subsidize.
I guess we were just talking about more farmers, needing more farmers.
We do.
Okay, so tell how do you walk that road? How do you get to that point?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Well, I guess that was kind of the conversation that we were trying to approach.
Right. I just don't think that subsidies are the way to go. I think that
allocations of money. I mean, truly, if it's going to go somewhere, I believe that food is where it begins. And a whole different conversation about pharmaceuticals and the way that we're going as far as healthcare right now, and just terrible food that's out there.
And those are the things that are subsidized.
And taking the shift. Restaurants, small margins, man. You're working. I mean, if you have some of the best restaurants in the world, if you're making 8% profit off the bottom line, you're doing very well.
I wish I was making 8% profit.
Right. Less than that. I mean, it truly is. It's laughable how little money there is down the food chain.
But
all the way.
The bigger part of this conversation, and it's really taking a step back and looking at it, is, what I've been able to do here between the restaurants, we have roughly 75 employees. That's 75 service industry employees that I would bet 60 or 70% of those employees will end up in the service industry in the Front Range, and of that, probably half of them will stay in the service industry. At the same time, those are employees that are starting in the service industry at restaurants like this, buying food from these guys, in a market that is so competitive for those products that they don't have enough farmers to be able to support all the restaurants that want to buy it. Yeah. That's not the same problem that the Front Range has. The Front Range has an abundance of anything they want whenever they want it, and there's a Spanish octopus on every menu in town. None of the restaurants out here operate like that. So all of these people that we're kind of exporting into the Front Range for service industry jobs, they're coming with the background of this local sourcing ethos and this farming ethos. And honestly and literally, it is almost a new food system that's changing kind of from the outside in, so to speak, which to me, that's super inspiring.
I'd love to hear this, Josh.
I love the perspectives, truly, because I'd like to see a more sustainable model. And I don't know that we have one right now. I think that the folks that are working very, very hard, it just seems like very ungrateful.
I would say times are changing, man.
Really? Okay.
I mean, it's a slow slow change, man. And agriculture is
a pendulum
slow
swing.
grind.
I will agree there is a pendulum swing.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I think we're seeing more of it. And you guys, I would tell you that on the Front Range, we couldn't exist without you guys because we don't have fruit. I mean, quite honestly, I mean, you all have something out here, and you actually have so much more because, I mean, like the warm weather and some of the stuff that I get from Scott and Jess, and we're talking about how do we find a root that we can put in a greenhouse and see if it can't go year round? How do we look at stuff that no one's, and those two are, the type of farmers that I love. I mean, these are two young, inspired people that want to change the whole way we do everything. And I've seen them grow from, the little 7 acres to the bigger, to now they're 14. I mean, it was like 7 to 10 to 14. And I've been watching them over the years. And that's so I congratulate you all here. I mean, because quite honestly, I think what what you all are doing, and I can only imagine how hard it is because I know.
Well, it's a labor of love.
It really is.
Talk about Scott and Jess. I mean, look at these guys. A lot of the things that these farmers are doing is that everything's patchwork together on how they can make what they have work. Bringing in
that's
new
the
equipment
spirit of real. I mean,
is it?
That's
if you were
really...
to if you were to ask Scott, and wish he was here for this conversation, I don't think he would like to use the same equipment over and over again each year with that. And the things that putting together that chicken coop that they drag across.
Their chicken tractor, man. Come on,
it's great.
That's what they love to do.
Innovative.
Hey, listen, I'll tell you, that's the same chicken tractor that someone used 100 years ago. I mean, it is because there's some of that stuff that doesn't change because it just works.
Well, they're not swimming in resources, that's for sure.
How many chickens do you think they can rage in that chicken tractor?
Well, I think what is Scott saying? He's got something going like 40 to 50 hens in there, doesn't he? Mm-hmm. I mean, he's keeping in between that electric fence. He's got that crazy little setup that he's got with the electric fence and the chicken tractor sort of in the middle of it, where I don't think all the hens have to be in there or something.
You guys are on a timeline, right? I think we have you till 7. Is that right?
We got a little time.
Okay, you're going to Modest Mouse tonight.
We are.
Right, you're going to run into those kids, too. You know, and the fairy godmother's going to be there with you.
Our first night off. No work. It's great.
Well, let us get a quick break in, if you don't mind, and then we'll finish up this conversation and then off to the races with the fun night at the show. And actually, I'm kind of jealous. Wish we had.
I do have a front row seat. Actually, remember my buddy called me and
Brian
said, if you guys want to go in the seat while you're there,
Let's break off real quick. This is a cool conversation, and I just want to keep having the conversations because I think the more and more minds that we get involved with it, that maybe there'll be an aha moment.
I hope so.
We haven't quite had that aha moment yet as the food keeps being – this food is outstanding here at Bin 707. If you're in Grand Junction or passing through, this is really a treat. And Chef Josh has done a great job, and his staff is working hard on a Saturday evening. All's well in the world. Greg Hollenbach, Brian Freeman, Jay Parker, Alex Liberati's here with us, and little Rich Schneider is back home. We're on the road. The Modern Eater Show will continue in just a moment right here from Grand Junction, Colorado.
Live in 3:30.
Don't forget to check us out on Instagram and Facebook for all the fun photos and videos. Just search The Modern Eater or check out the website, themoderneater.com.
As you approach retirement, what if you could easily pay off your mortgage and access tax-free cash without repaying a loan? It is possible. With a reverse mortgage from American Financing, homeowners 62 years and older can live a stress-free, mortgage-free retirement without losing ownership of your home. You just have to keep up with property taxes and homeowners insurance, which I'm sure you're doing anyway. It's a solution worth considering, especially if you want to postpone using your retirement savings or touching your Social Security, or if you want to remain in your current home for years to come. At American Financing, their mortgage consultants are salary-based, so conversations are simple, straightforward, and honest. Let them answer your questions and help you identify the right financial solution for your retirement needs. Call them today at 303-695-7000. That's 303-695-7000 or online at AmericanFinancing.net.
NMLS 182334, regulated by the Division of Real Estate.
Hey, it's Greg Hollenbach for Gluten-Free Things. Are you intolerant or sensitive to gluten? Or maybe you're a gluten-free lifestyler? Is your menu limited because you've eliminated gluten from your diet? Are you missing the taste of foods that traditionally contain gluten? What if I told you that you can add breads, pizzas, muffins, cakes, cookies, waffles, croissants, English muffins, the list goes on, right back to your menu? Gluten-Free Things is a local gluten-free and vegan bakery that reintroduces you to the foods you love. Owner John Irvin believes gluten-free shouldn't taste like the box that it's packaged in. Trust me when I tell you, the products from his bakery in Arvada are fresh, flavorful, and masterly crafted, leaving you with a product that tastes like the real thing. Simply delicious. The bakery is located in Arvada on 64th and Sims across the street from Arvada West High School. Check out their website at glutenfreethings.com. You'll be amazed with the variety of gluten-free products make. And chefs, don't leave your gluten-free restaurant guests without options. Contact John at info@glutenfreethings.com. That's info@glutenfreethings.com to see what he can do for you. Give him a shot. 11651 West 64th Avenue in Arvada.
Live in 1 minute.
Hey, chef friends, it's Little Rich here from Raquelitas Tortillas. Raquelitas, known for hyperlocal, innovative, and healthy tortillas and chips, served by Colorado's top chefs, and that's why we only use Colorado Mills sunflower oil. If you too want to serve the healthiest, most vibrant tasting foods, you must use Colorado Mills. Colorado Mills is hyperlocal, Colorado grown, cold pressed in Lamar, Colorado. Whether you bake, fry, or saute, get your Colorado Mills today. Available through Shamrock, Growers Organic, and Dawn Foods. For the best oil in the business, use Colorado Mills.
Hey, it's Chef Elon Wenzel, owner of Element Knife Company. If you cook, then you'll know the importance of a quality knife and proper care. My training in Japan exposed me
Live in 20.
cutlery. That's why I am so excited to offer you the knives I fell in love with. Element Knife Company is chef-driven, and my goal is to support and educate. Get at me for a knife clinic or conversation. Find me at elementknife.com or by simply calling 303-460-46.
3, 2, 1. You're hot.
All right, you guys, back to the show in just a moment. But before we do that, I want to talk bread. And more specifically, I want to talk Aspen Baking Company and their no preservatives, no artificial coloring, and no chemicals in any of their bread.
None of it. None of it.
None of it, Craig. None of it. And I'm a bread guy, but I don't like all that extra stuff in my bread, to be honest with you.
Jay?
I don't know. You know what my favorite thing is? Focaccia bread. But if you don't worry about focaccia, if you want hoagie, ciabatta, baguettes, croissants, bear claws, lobster rolls, pound cakes, coffee cakes, they also do boxed lunches, catering. People like Brian Freeman at Growers Organic that buy lunch for their employees. It's a great way to do something nice. You get some great sandwiches, a little cookie, a little bag of chips.
You know that Colorado Mills tour that we're about to go on?
Yes.
We're heading on down in a bus.
Yes.
Well, we're going to be provided with Aspen Baking, and that's just what you do. If you've got a large group of people and you need delicious food, ask Aspen Baking, right, Jay?
That's right, and the way to do that is aspenbaking.com. Easy enough to remember, and hashtag how's your Aspen. That's no preservatives, no artificial flavors, no chemicals in any of their bread. Aspen Baking Company, aspenbaking.com.
Feed me now.
This is the modern.
You have about a minute 20.
Can you buy me take that minute out at the top of the hour so I can get out at 59.50?
Yeah, let me see what I can do.
Thanks, buddy.
Kill people? Brought to you by
Proud Souls
me
Barbecue
that
and Provisions. Cooks and purveyors of specialty barbecue supplies right here in Denver, Colorado. ProudSoulsBBQ.com.
Feed me all night long.
Okay, great. Just a few minutes left in the hour. And all night long right here in Grand Junction, broadcasting live at Bin 707 Food Bar. And Emma and Matt here with us, Chef Josh, Brian, we're all here. And, well, boy, we really did light a rocket in you off that. and I think it was the word subsidy that did it. I said, hey, listen, Emma, I'm just trying to figure out how to make this a better world for farmers. That's it. And a little confusion there. But I would just like to be able to focus. If we're putting out money there, let's help the folks that really need it. So, sorry about that.
No.
I apologize.
I think there was a little confusion.
Yeah, absolutely. So, let's get back to what you guys do, since we have about 3 more minutes to spend with you, and then it's off to the races to go listen to some music. What would you like people to know? Is there anything out there that you'd like, now that you have a microphone on you, is there anything?
I know, Matt, and we haven't heard from you, man.
Yeah.
Come on, anything you want to say tonight?
He's so good with words, too. Come on.
There's a lot of opportunity out there for new farmers. There's a lot of mouths out there. There's a lot of people moving to Colorado. Imagine the number of eggs that could be produced off of a 50-hen tractor and the number of mouths that are on the front range of Colorado. There's a lot of opportunity out there. We need to put the pieces together for people to get value out of the production that they make. Right now, there's 2 types of farmers. There's the big-time tuxedo Olathe corn, They're sending that across the state.
The Heralds.
The Heralds into other states. And then there's the small-time grower who's trying to maximize the value of their product by going to farmers markets. They're growing a diversified garden that fills up a farmer's market booth and makes it look good. There's nothing in between. Getting farmers to find that balance in between serving retail customers at a farmer's market booth and serving Josh here at Bin is a very challenging step, because it's right in the middle in there in between mass production and diversified hobby gardening.
We'll continue in the next hour. Mic drop. That was great, man. You should talk more, actually. We'll be back. Hour number 2 coming up next.
KRFX HD2 Denver.
This is Denver's Talk Station with Ross Kaminsky in the morning and Dan Kaplis in the afternoon. 630 KHOW Denver.
ABC News, I'm Yuni Han. President Trump sending more troops to Saudi Arabia after last week's drone attack on 2 major oil facilities there. Minister of State for Foreign Affairs Adel Al-Jubeir says Iran's behavior is concerning.
What Iran is trying to do is stall, prevaricate, play games, and instead engage in more aggressive behavior than not. That's not the posture of a country that wants to live in peace and security with its neighbors, and that's not the posture of a country that wants to be accepted in the community of nations.
Iran has denied any involvement in the attacks and is warning of an all-out war if there's any strike on the country. In Iowa, at the Polk County Democrat steak fry, Joe Biden calling for a full investigation into the whistleblower's claims against President Trump, saying the president wanted to get dirt on him because he knows Biden would win in a 2020 matchup. And legendary journalist and longtime ABC News contributor Cokie Roberts laid to rest today in Washington, D.C. She was 75. This is ABC News. Antonio Brown is looking for a new team after the New England Patriots released him from his multi-million-dollar contract Friday. The NFL leaving Brown free to sign with another team while he's investigated for allegations of sexual misconduct brought by 2 women. ABC's Zachary Quiche reports.
A woman who accused Brown of sexual misconduct says she felt threatened and intimidated by text messages that came from a familiar number, which she believes to be Brown. This is the second accuser to come forward. Brown's former trainer, Brittany Taylor, filed a civil lawsuit last week, outlining allegations of rape, battery, and false imprisonment, all of which Brown denies.
And more Americans are contacting the FBI about possible mass shootings after August shootings in the U.S. took 34 lives in California, Ohio, and Texas. The FBI says tips are up about 15,000 weekly. Experts also say media coverage helped prompt people to inform on neighbors or relatives who might pose a danger to the public. Unihan, ABC News.
Ever wonder why Europeans seem to speak so many languages? Maybe it's because they use Babbel, the #1 selling language learning app in Europe. Babbel's award-winning technology gets you speaking right away, whether you're learning Spanish, French, or German. And best of all, you'll remember what you've learned.
I always thought I was bad at languages, but after using Babbel, I can tell you I was just taught the wrong way.
Using Babbel's 10 to 15-minute lessons, you can be speaking confidently in your new language within weeks.
I was amazed that I could start having real-life conversations right away. It was so fast. Now I'm speaking Spanish. Woohoo!
No wonder Babbel is the #1 selling language learning app in Europe. Try it for yourself and see why Babbel is the quick way to get conversational in a new language, like Spanish, French, or more. You can try Babbel for free. Go to Babbel.com or download the app and try it for free. That's Babbel, Babbel.com, or download the app to try it for free. That's Babbel.com.
Now, Impact Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Electrolit.
Well, with Interstate 70 being closed in both directions between Vasquez and I-270 all weekend for construction, commuters have been using 270 as their alternate route, and it's been causing some lengthy delays all day. And now we do have a crash on westbound 270 near I-76, so it's making that westbound drive even slower. A crash northbound I-25. It's north of Bellevue in the DTC area. The traffic is still backed up almost to Arapahoe Road, and traffic also on southbound 25. Stop and go between the Boulder Turnpike Exchange and the I-70 ramps. Denver's weather tonight, a slight chance for storms, the low of 45. Sunday, we should see sunshine and an afternoon high of 77. Currently 69. With your Impact Traffic and Weather, I'm Jake Ryan, 630 KHOW.
Fun night but rough morning? Electrolit is your premium hydration drink that recovers you right away when your body gets dehydrated from those long nights. Its scientific formula offers electrolytes for a fast recovery. Grab one now at a Circle K near you. Hydrate your life with Electrolit.
It's September, but hey, remember January and that New Year's resolution you made? Hi, Rick Edelman here. You wanted to get your retirement planning all done, and hey, it's not too late. You can still fulfill your New Year's resolution for retirement. And we want to make it easy for you, so we're giving you this special opportunity. Sign up for a free retirement review. Yes, right now, until Monday at 10 p.m., you can sign up for a free retirement review. You'll meet with one of my colleagues, an experienced financial planner here at Edelman Financial Engines, and we'll review your savings and investments and all the other aspects of your personal finances. And we'll tell you if you're doing everything right. And if you're not, we'll give you the recommendations you need to help make sure you have enough money to last your entire retirement. All this is an $800 value, and it's yours free if you call 888-PLAN-RIC before 10 p.m. Monday. Do it now before the holidays are upon us. Call 888-PLAN-RIC. That's 888-PLAN-RIC.
Are you paying hundreds a month for Viagra or Cialis? Well, my friends at Men's.com are helping our listeners with generic Viagra and Cialis for a fraction of the cost, and they deliver your meds conveniently and discreetly to your front door. For a limited time, Men's.com is offering your first month at just $5. No doctor appointment or embarrassing conversations, and save hundreds. Your first month of generic Viagra or Cialis, only $5 at FDA-approved Men's.com. That's MENS.com.
Welcome to ZipPoll USA, Healthcare Edition, paid for by ZipPoll. For the latest opinions direct from the Zip app, here's Christina Staffo.
In the third Democrat debate last week, we heard more about the candidates' healthcare vision. New Jersey Senator Cory Booker's proposal supports a goal of achieving Medicare for all, but Booker doesn't go so far as Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders in calling to eliminate private insurance companies.
We are a nation with a savagely broken healthcare system. We're the party that's trying to say everybody should have health insurance.
Do you see healthcare as a right or a privilege? According to results on ZipPoll, 59% view healthcare as a privilege.
1 minute.
Okay, so where do you land on the spectrum? In a socialized system, the government pays health care but also operates the hospitals and employs the medical staff. Should the U.S. adopt this system? At 94%, the vast majority of Zip pollers say definitely not. And another Zip poll asks, do you think the healthcare system in the U.S. works efficiently? Super close results here, with 51% believing in the efficiency of our current system, but 49% say no, our healthcare system is broken, and should everyone be required by law to have health insurance? After weighing in on the Zip app, almost 90% say no, it's not necessary, with 11% saying yes, it should be required to purchase health insurance.
Thanks, Christina. Download ZipPoll USA.
Hey, what do you want to do?
Share your opinions and make sure your voice is heard.
With the other two are Jamie and
directly from the Zip app. Thanks for listening to ZipPoll USA.
The following is a paid advertisement. The opinions, viewpoints, and promises made during the following program are not those of KHOW, its staff, management, or parent company, iHeartMedia Incorporated.
How about if I do eat? It's time for the second course, hour number 2 of the Modern Eater.
What are you hungry for?
Here's to a meal we're all here for.
Delicious and tasty.
Now we're getting to the good stuff. With your hosts, Greg Holland and Brian Freeman.
Yes, 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 and why not? Here we go, second hour. Beautiful evening in Grand Junction. The Modern Eater on the road out here for the Wine Festival, and it continues because there's a friend of ours, and we love this guy, Josh Niernberg, and Bin 707 Food Bar, back at it. Greg Holland back, Brian Freeman, Jay Parker, Alex Liberati's here with us, and Chef, this is kind of a really cool thing to be able to sit here and feature you out on your patio tonight and talk to a lot of the folks that you do business with.
Well, hey, it's a pleasure to have you guys, and it's super fun. And it's, trust me, none of us ever get a chance to share a table, so it's pretty special for all of us.
To get together at a table one evening. So one magic night happening right now, and we have some other folks that are joining us. Do the setup.
Okay, so these guys are the craziest people I know.
Wait, you know Brian, though, don't you?
Well, that's true. So Jamie and Steve of the Storm Cellar Winery in Hotchkiss, which is the West Elks AVA. Sorry, I'll never do that again. That's fighting words. Are also the Colorado 5 members with me this year. So we've been working with each other all year and have had the ability to bring in their wines to the restaurants, and we're featuring their wines in the restaurants this weekend.
Steve's drinking our wine tonight.
I am literally drinking it right now.
Very cool. Take a second on Colorado 5.
So Colorado 5 started 13, 14 years ago by Lee Sullivan in Denver. It was the Denver 5, which was a group I'd looked up to a ton when I was in Denver. And a couple years back, she posted that year's group of the Denver 5 and called them Colorado's best chefs. And so I sent her a message and said that Denver's not a state. Colorado's got more chefs than just Denver. And she kind of called me on it and invited me to the team. And so we've been working. This is my second year with Colorado 5. This year we have an absolutely insane team from all over the state. And we've been just kind of showcasing everybody's restaurants and everybody's regions throughout the year. We just completed the last event of the year here in Grand Junction at Dinner Party last week, or 2 weeks ago. And 2 weeks from now, we're going to be in New York at the James Beard House.
Fantastic. That's cool. So you guys, welcome.
Thank
What
you.
makes you so crazy? I want to hear it from you.
Oh, my gosh.
How are you crazy?
A lot of ways. So we're farmers and winemakers out in Hotchkiss, Colorado. And we were former Front Range dwellers. And we were in the hospitality and restaurant scene. So both of us, had run the gamut of, hospitality. So we were bartenders, we were sommeliers, wine directors, restaurant managers. And so we saw that side where you're receiving someone's product and pouring it to someone else. And so it's kind of like being like a radio DJ. You're spinning someone's records.
Yeah.
It's someone
Playing
else's
the
product.
hits.
Exactly. But we really wanted to kind of be the people behind it. And were we farmers before this? No. So the crazy part is that we totally tossed in our suits and started farming back in 2017, and here we are. So
lost your mind.
I gotta say,
Lost our minds.
congratulations.
Thank you so much.
That's big.
Yeah.
That really is.
Traded
It's
in
been
the
an-
suits. Huh?
You're living your dream. I mean, quite honestly, right?
Honestly, yeah. As soon as we saw the West Elks AVA and Paonia Hotchkiss, we wrote a business plan on our way back home on that 4.5-hour drive. And honestly, every single thing, even the bucket list, I was like, one day I want to be part of the Colorado 5 team. And it happened this year. So, I mean, just
Oh, wow. Okay.
insane, crazy dream realizations. A lot of work behind it, but interesting that you said that.
Talk about your business.
Sure. So our winery is the Storm Cellar. We bought an existing vineyard in 2017. That vineyard has had a long, sordid, multi-layered past. It used to be a rock quarry. It used to be an apple orchard. It was planted to Chardonnay grapes back in 1987. The winery that previously owned it won all kinds of awards from those wines back in the 90s. But it kind of fell into disrepair in the 2000s. So we bought a vineyard that needed a lot of rehabilitation in 2017. We saw the potential there. We ran the numbers. We looked at the specs of the vineyard, the soil, the climate situation, the grapes that were planted there, the grapes that we wanted to grow. And even though it was run down at the time, it seemed like a perfect fit for us. We're kind of white wine fanatics, and for us to find a gigantic vineyard planted with all of our favorite varieties, and it was a fixer-upper, seemed like just what we were looking for at the time. We're kind of, gluttons for punishment.
Yeah,
and
make it yours.
Steve, how many acres?
So the whole property is almost 90 acres.
Wow.
But we have, it's a real interesting, super rugged terrain, very steep hillsides, but right in the middle of that 90 acres is a flat mesa, pretty much flat mesa, and that's where the vineyard is located. So we have currently about 15 acres planted with Riesling, Chardonnay, Sauvignon Blanc, and Pinot Gris, but we've already started expanding that. Last year we planted 1,000 new vines, the first grafted vines planted in the West Elks AVA. This year we planted 1,250 new grafted vines, and the plans are to continue that pretty much going forward. Other than that, that's our plan right now. We kicked restaurants to the curb, bought some overalls, started farming. We've been hermits out there for the past couple years, rehabilitating this property. But, we've joked. The farming part was what was new to us, and that was what was terrifying. But now we have wine to sell, so that's what we know how to do. The ball's back in our court now. We know how to sell wine. And
we're back in restaurants.
Wow.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
You guys are just beaming, huh?
Thank you.
Very cool. So what's the model? Where are you guys going from here now that you have the wine?
Yeah, we have the wine. This is our first vintage release. So we're really excited about how the wines have been showing. I'm super proud about how they're tasting. So consistency, definitely looking forward to that. We're experimenting with native fermentation. We want to do a sparkling wine project. So we're doing a little pet nat project. So that's just another form of making sparkling wine. So we're going to be doing that this fall. Our dream as far as going upward, maintain consistency, keep replenishing that vineyard, restoring the vines, restoring the soil. But also we really want to do a sparkling wine project. Method champagne, so traditional method sparkling wine, which takes space, it takes time, it takes money. So ultimately, that's a few years from now.
Let me slide back that native fermentation. Greg just learned about that. Would you expand for our listeners?
Yeah.
Oh, we're into that territory now. We're gonna next is gonna be natural wine after that.
Yeah, I like getting into like the nitty gritties. Native fermentation. You can buy commercial yeasts. You can buy yeasts that are proven to do a certain thing. There's nothing bad with that. We've actually inoculated our juice with purchased yeast last year. We actually didn't know what was actually in the kind of the ecosystem of the property, and so it kind of gives you a predictable outcome, which consistency is good for us going forward. That first year, we couldn't really fail. We didn't know what the native flora in the vineyard was because it was a conventionally farmed vineyard. And so, we wanted to make sure that we had consistency. So native fermentations. So there are active yeasts living in the vineyard, living on the grape skins. And so if you were just to, take some grapes, crush them in a bucket, it's going to start fermenting. And we're excited to taste what our vineyard, how it tastes like once it's fermented. And so we want to experiment with like a small batch to see how our fermentations go. So that's kind of like a very short story. Yeah.
This stuff, though, is so cool, and I know the listeners appreciate that, so thank you, Jamie.
Yeah.
And quite honestly, folks, Jamie and Steve, you have Storm Cellar.
Yes.
Are you growing anything else but grapes, or just grapes?
We have one tomato plant this year. It's raging. We just put a deer-proof and elk-proof fence around our backyard, and we're going to do 6 raised beds next year. So we were urban farmers in Denver, so we really miss the garden. I know we have about 15 acres in production of grapes. So you're like, why would you want to add to that? But we love having a culinary garden. It's something that is indelibly attached to us. And we have a couple of dill plants, a couple of fennel plants, but expanding.
Cool. Yeah. Is there a tasting room?
Not yet. So we're appointment only because the two of us basically do everything from marketing to farming to winemaking, and we really want to be able to give a guest the entire experience. We have a tasting overlook that just behind you are vines, and you look out on the West Elks, West Elk Wilderness, and so we're appointment only, but we do have a little tasting overlook. So yeah.
Very cool.
Yep.
How close is it to Wink?
It's Wink and Max, where we did the video. We did a video out there. Yeah.
10 to 20 minutes, depending upon.
And so are you on that same
crossing.
side of the highway there?
We're on the north side, yes.
North side, okay.
He kind of did the same thing to where he just completely changed careers.
Yeah. They're great
Took
people.
a left-hand turn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then threw some lambs.
I know. I'm curious to see what
the baby doll sheep.
Yes, the baby doll sheep.
Yes, that property was just repurchased, and the new owners, every property that gets bought out there right now in the West Elks, everybody crosses their fingers. When our vineyard was up for sale, it had been, 40 years ago, that property had been subdivided out, and so all the neighbors were scared that it was going to get turned into a subdivision. And the same thing happened with Max and Winks' property. All the farmers are scared that somebody's going to come out there and tear up the vineyard and plant hemp everywhere, because that is what is happening everywhere out there. You're seeing 100-year-old peach trees and apple trees torn up and planted with hemp, and everybody was scared. But it looks like the new owners of Mesa Winds are going for a winery again, so we're super excited.
Oh, fantastic. I didn't know it turned over.
Yes.
So
Yeah, just recently. But the other thing, though, it's interesting about their farm is, they have peaches, apples, and grapes, and they have the sheep. I mean, they had this really, almost a biodiverse farm there that they were running. So it was an interesting, then that couple, people like that is what I see in you two. Because it's like someone who really cares about the land more. And needless to say, I'm sure you're going organic.
Yes.
It's so funny when I hear the words, there was conventional farming. You think, to me, it's so ass backwards.
Yeah.
That's not conventional.
No, it's not. It's not sustainable long
I
term.
know. It's crazy. So to see, and then you look at guys like Jeff Schwartz that believe so much. That guy taking what he does with his apple orchards and and from right back to the soil. Every step along that chain.
There's a wild man for you, Mr. Schwartz.
Yes.
Back into the ground, but people that just care more about it. More and more. Scott and Jess, same way. So soil forward.
Mm-hmm. Well, remember we ran into Toby over there. There's so many folks. The little grocery stores there in Paonia.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
we shop at Farm Runners regularly, the station out there.
Nice.
Yeah. But I think that's a good point, too. You know, I mean, when we first moved out there, it had kind of been an outpost for a previous vineyard, and we looked at all the chemicals that were in the shop, all the machines that were there, and we were trying to figure out what is the purpose of all of these things. And when you really stop and think about it, all those things, the machines, the chemicals, all they're doing is doing the things that a human could do, but on a different timeline. You know, the tractor can do the same work you can do. It can just do it faster. And almost all of those poisonous chemicals that people use are just doing things that a human could do if you were willing to put the work in. So that's been our mantra, is we sold off a lot of the equipment that came with the property that when we bought it. We you know, recycled a bunch of the chemicals that came with the property, and we're like, we can do the same thing that all those machines and chemicals are doing if we're willing to just get out there and basically not pound the pavement, but pound the dirt.
Yeah,
you know?
I think there's a common theme here, and is no shortcuts, and
Yes.
stick to your guns and what you believe in, and you see it with not only. And Josh, that's what I love about you, man, is that you just stick to your guns. That's what it is, and then you find folks with the same exact thought process.
If there was a mantra here for Western Colorado, it would be manifest destiny. It's like the wild, wild west.
Yep.
You come out, you put the work in, you do it right, and it works. It's not necessarily as easy to do that, and I know that sounds kind of ridiculous, but it's not as easy to do that at the Front Range. Here you can set your course, put in the work, and do it, and that's really, I think everybody that we're talking to tonight and everybody that I work with on a regular basis, that's the one thing that we all share and have in common.
Again, non-conventional.
Yes.
Yes.
Exactly.
Don't work. Imagine that you actually put the work in and you can do the things. That's a great story that you tell there, that you got rid of all that, just got back to basics, right?
Yeah.
I mean, do the basics well.
We've talked to, you know, vineyard managers around the world, and when you look at the great vineyard managers around the world, there's a constant theme, a constant thing that gets said by those people over and over, and it's that they don't drive their ATVs around the vineyard. They walk around their vineyard.
Yes.
All the time. And that was our thing. Our first year, we barely drove our ATVs at all. You just walk. You look at everything all the time. If you're driving, you'll pass that one plant and you look over and you're like, that one's a little whatever. But you're on the ATV. I'll deal with that later. If you're walking, deal with it now. Just walk past it and deal with it. So
It's hands-on.
yeah, it's hands-on. We do everything by hand out there.
I love that. I love that.
I know he's not lying, too, because he's got a really good tan. That's a farming
It's
tan. Chances are you got the cutoff, too.
Oh, yes, I do.
Yeah, I just wear long sleeves. So.
Long sleeves all
And a
day.
hat.
Let's take a quick break, and we'll come back and talk about the wine itself.
Sure.
And then some of the things that you want to do and some of the varieties, which I think is going to be cool. Okay, we'll come back. Alex Liberati, he's having a great conversation. I felt bad because we were going to get Blaine on earlier in the show, and now he's just kind of hanging out. So
Jack, yeah.
we'll get him back.
We'll get him back.
We'll get him back on. And what do you think?
I think I am having an incredible time and learning so much about these.
I know.
I mean, for me, a little bit, it should be closer, and I should be out here more often because, you know, quite honestly, what Josh is saying and everything that's going on, I mean, I know I say this all the time, and it's so hard, but being out here really is just the roots of what I got into this for. And so for me, I love you guys, man. Thank you for what you're doing, and keep doing it. Don't ever stop. And the passion, Josh, that you have, you know, I mean, seriously, all of you, please.
It's funny.
Keep doing what you're doing. I mean, Steve, Jamie, please don't ever stop. I mean, if I could only preach that enough.
I mean, the Rocky Mountains is a big, gigantic physical hurdle, but it's just 4 hours.
You can
It's not as far as we think it is.
4
It's not.
Netflix shows. We do that on the regular. Just drive and
Right.
do some downtime with yourself. It's a beautiful drive.
I know
and the
it.
reward
I know
is,
it.
We're big.
I'm not talking to you
We're
specifically.
big Lord of the Rings fans, and people are like, "How long's the drive?" I'm like, "It's an extended edition of Fellowship of the Ring. That's all it is. You've done that 100 times before."
I love that. I love that.
So they are crazy. Okay, we'll come back live in Grand Junction, and this has been a treat because, you know, scratch the table. Everything scratch. Everything. Nothing. No corners cut, right?
Right.
Just
Amen.
Everything scratch. And, Jay, have you had anything to eat?
Uh,
Did you eat last night?
Yeah, I had a cheeseburger and bacon. I just want to not here though, but I just want to go back real quick. I mean, we have to take a commercial break, but Brian started his whole thing, and I'm still laughing about it. And I'm sorry. He goes, "It should be closer." Just the most random, like, okay, it should. There's a lot of shoulds.
Just move Denver this way.
Somebody build a tunnel. Build a tunnel.
I got a million shoulds. The first one starting with my car. My car should be better than it is. Let's start there. Can we take a commercial?
Sure. We'll continue from bin 707 in just a minute.
Choose your path through Cyberland. Don't forget to check us out on Instagram and Facebook for all the photos and videos. Just search The Modern Eater or check out the website, themoderneater.com.
Today, business happens here, and virtually anywhere. Because today, innovative companies are reinventing the way business happens, and they need people who can keep up. With the expertise and technology to get packages to over 150 million delivery points. So, who can help you deliver the future of commerce? The United States Postal Service. See why we deliver more e-commerce packages to homes than anyone at USPS.com/future.
When you fire up a John Deere 1 Series tractor, you can tackle the job without wrestling the attachments. Hook up everything from a front loader to a drive-over mower deck in no time. So you can haul gravel, cut grass, or do any job in between. Because when things just click, work just gets done. And now get a 1 Series for just $99 a month at your nearest participating John Deere dealer. Nothing runs like a Deere. Run with us. Search John Deere 1 Series for more. 0% annual percentage rate. For additional cost information, please call toll-free 855-633-2315.
How is it that apps can help you with everything? Your steps, your sleeping patterns, the traffic. But you pay for car insurance that's based on, well, who knows what? The way everyone else drives? The insurance company's whim? Well, that's what Nobler Insurance is here to fix. Car insurance with personalized monthly rates and rewards based on how much and how well you drive. No mysterious rates or mumbo-jumbo from an insurance agent that you're pretty sure is taking advantage of you. The Nobler app can measure things like how hard you brake and whether you're texting and driving. I know, you'd never do that. To things like daily mileage, to time of day, and even road choice. Do you head out on the highway or take the old town road? The bottom line, Nobler bases your personal monthly rates and rewards on how you drive, not everyone else, which means good drivers can save a lot of money. Nobler is simply smart insurance for smart drivers. So get your quote at Nobler.com. That's Nobler.com.
Individual savings may vary. Must meet eligibility requirements to bind a policy.
Hey, you guys. Jay Parker here for Encore.
1 minute.
You paying for your natural gas? Wouldn't you like to save 10 to 20% on your natural gas bill? Of course you would. You're not crazy. Encore Energy and Brian Rizzuto can do just that. Save you money. Give Brian a call, 720-245-5771. Maybe you own a restaurant or a brewery and use a ton of natural gas. This is how you save money. Get a free savings review from Brian Rizzuto and Encore Energy. Call Brian at 720-245-5771. Save 10 to 20% on your natural gas bill right now.
Rocker Spirits. It's a distillery. It's a place to hang. It's about quality. It's
Hey,
about taste.
Jared, we have a live when we come back?
No, sir, that's in the next break.
Rocker whiskey.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Rocker vodka.
You can move it to here if you want to get it out.
No. Next break's fine. Thanks, buddy.
Town Littleton. And if you
How
get
long we
hungry
got?
while you're sipping on some
10 seconds.
food truck line in town. Open Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. Rockerspirits.com. Rockerspirits.com.
You want to bring us back, Brian?
My name's Chef Keegan Gerhardt.
Surely.
Owner of D-Bar, and you're listening to The Modern Eater on iHeartRadio.
Well, this is the second hour. About 20 minutes into it here in Palisade, Colorado. And
Or
we
Grand
are
Junction.
or Grand Junction. Yeah.
That's
Oh,
all
my
right.
gosh, folks. I did this earlier today. I said we were in
I
Paonia.
can't wait to tell Alex Liberati about that.
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I did it. It's I'm terrible. It is terrible. But we are here. This is the Modern Eater Show on iHeartRadio, and we are with some of the best
Where are we?
chefs. We're in where did I say? Grand Junction, right?
I know, but
we'll bring it back to the right place instead of Palisade. Yes, we're in Grand Junction.
What's the name of the restaurant?
Grand Junction, Colorado, at Ben 707
Who's the chef?
Food Bar. Chef Josh Niernberg of Taco Party, of Dinner Party, and also a Colorado 5 chef who actually was such a big guy he got the name changed from Denver 5 to Colorado 5.
Had to rebrand.
Because I like what he did with Lee there. That was good.
Who are we talking to?
We're talking right now to Greg Hollenbach,
Hey,
Jay Parker.
Hey, real quick. So Brian,
Steve and Jamie.
This is the Jay Parker, the producer. You can't see me if you're watching, but just real quick. So Brian has this real bad habit. I was telling Chef Josh about it yesterday, and I was telling Alex Liberati about it today, where he just uses the wrong names of things from time to time with the Palisade and the Grand Junction. But we're doing the CRA thing from the CRA restaurant and bar show the other day, and he's referencing Infinite Monkey Theorem Winery, and Ben Parsons and stuff. And this is what he says. He says, yeah. Well, the monkey wine that he's making over there. And I laughed about that for about 3. I couldn't get that out of my brain. So thanks for that, Brian.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, anytime, man. Anytime. I'm so glad that I can bring joy to your life.
I think
outside of our show.
All of us over here have worked with the monkey wine on some.
The monkey wine.
Monkeying around with some wine.
The 2017 Monkey Chardonnay was all from our vineyard, which was exciting. Ben bought all our Chardonnay our first year out there.
Yeah.
That was exciting working with Infinite Monkey, our first vintage. Yeah.
I'd love to hear that because that was actually part of the show is the fact that how Colorado has come around and who were the innovators here in Colorado to really push us into a new scene. And we were with viticulture and who was
Enology.
it? Enology, yes. What was his name? We just did a show the other day. Monty, thank you.
That's right.
Yeah, and it's interesting because, listen, Colorado was known for its wines 40, 50 years ago.
Yes.
Then all of a sudden we were known for nothing. I mean, except peaches and Rocky Ford melons and Olay sweet corn. And now we're coming back to these, like, in my opinion, sort of the heirloom or heritage breeds of things that we have. One of the things, I don't know if you know Scott and Jess, but they have some walnut trees. And what a lot of people don't know is there used to be huge walnut orchards in Grand Junction and Palisade. Huge. And then in the 50s, there was a storm. 50s, I believe, is when it was. And there was a storm. A lot of them split, and everyone moved away from that. But obviously, that was a nut that grew well here. And I never thought that, nuts would grow well in Colorado. I mean, Fruit Loops, yes, I see them all around the state. But, and so it's interesting because I see more of a movement. And it's on the Front Range, we're going back to grains that were grown. And so what I love to hear is when you're really taking your vines and you're bringing back some vines that maybe weren't grown here, but maybe you're researching your terroir, you're researching your altitude.
Oh, yes.
Talk about your wines.
Yeah, and definitely I'll kind of, respond to what you just said, too. A lot of wineries or vineyard owners, they will plant what sells or what they think will sell. And it might not necessarily, those grapes might not necessarily do well in this particular environment. And so we actually, we purchased an existing vineyard. Circumstantially, it was Doug Phillips of Plum Creek Cellars that planted those original vines. And it was so thought out as far as like what this particular area could yield. And it's high pH soil. It's about 8.1. It's not the best soil, but it's great for planting grapevines. And the slope of that vineyard is right at about, I would say, like a 5% grade. It's perfect. The wind just rushes through. So not only was it chosen specifically to plant grapevines in a great way, white wine grapes do so well in that particular environment, that particular soil, that cool growing season. And so we have Chardonnay planted, and they were planted in the 80s. We still have original plantings. One of our favorite clones for me and Steve is the Old Winty clone out of California. And honestly, we would find Chardonnays that we would love as we were working in the wine industry, and we'd be like, that is an amazing wine. And we'd find out it was Old Winty. And so when we moved to the property, unbeknownst to us, that was what was planted out there.
Oh, wow.
Is Old Winty vines.
Oh, so you didn't even have to graft or anything.
Those are ungrafted vines that we have planted. That is another story we might share in a second about ungrafted vines and the threat that poses. But back to what we grow, Chardonnay, and we also have Pinot Gris that we made into a rosé this past year in 2018. We also have a little under an acre of Sauvignon Blanc and a lot of Riesling. So, yeah. And we do 3 different kinds of Riesling. So we do a dry Riesling, an off-dry, so slightly sweet, and then a reserve, which is not technically classified as a dessert wine per se, but it's our sweetest wine. It's our only super sweet wine, and it is amazing, like with blue cheese, something a little sour and funky.
Do you have the whole collection here, Josh?
I've got most of them. I don't have that one. I have most of them, though.
It's in the car.
Yeah, it's in
Is
the
it really?
car. It was in the truck out there.
I think we have all but that one here.
Yeah.
I'm going to make you guys brag, but the other 2 Rieslings just got a pretty good critical acclaim. So
Yes.
I'd love you to tell me about that.
Thanks for that introduction,
Yeah.
Josh. So the Colorado Governor's Cup Awards just happened this past weekend, and it was their judging on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So 251 wines from Colorado were submitted, and they were submitted to a panel that tasted the wines blindly. And on that panel were master sommeliers, masters of wine, some wine writers, basically very well-trained palates. And so, Steve and I, this is our first vintage, and we're just like, how many wines should we submit? Which one should we do? And we're like, you know what? We're going to do all 7. And we just put all 7 in, kind of like tapped our fingers, and we knew all weekend that was happening. It's all we could think about. So our Riesling, our off-dry Riesling and our dry Riesling were 2 out of 14 that received double gold medals.
Wow,
And
congratulations.
thank you.
Thanks.
We are super, super excited about that.
But there's more, isn't there? Right? You got the 2 golds.
We got 2 golds, yes. So we have a gold on both of our rosés, our rosé of Pinot Noir and Pinot Gris. And the stories behind those for 2 particular wines, it's making lemons out of lemonade. And I can tell you that in a second. But the other 3 wines that we made, the Chardonnay and the off-dry Riesling, or excuse me, the dry, I know my wines. The Reserve Riesling, they got silver medals. So everything medaled silver above. And we couldn't, I don't know, it's so humbling. It's kind of terrifying. And we have such gratitude that happened our first year. But
I bet you got
great start.
Yeah, lots of new
Holy
friends, I bet.
I don't know.
Just wait.
Yeah.
Once that award gets out, your inbox will be full with lots of people who want to meet you.
How do you build off that?
Yeah, our other crazy story for awards this year. So we premiered our wines at the Telluride Wine Festival back in June.
Mm-hmm.
So we're literally sitting on a panel of sommeliers in front of a sold-out crowd of people coming to hear us talk. And one of the other members we were 5 minutes away from this lecture starting. Panel's ready to go. We're all queued up. And we get a text from our friend Jen, who's the other beverage component of the Colorado 5 this year. And she said, congratulations on 5280 Top of the Town. And we thought voting had just started. So we start texting all our friends to start voting for us. And a couple minutes later, she said, texted us back, and she's like, no, you guys just won Editor's Choice for Best Colorado Winery. And we're like, what?
Yes.
We were literally losing it that day.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's huge.
Tell folks the name of your winery again.
it is the Storm Cellar. Yeah.
And is it only online? Where can you buy it?
So you can buy online in about a month. We just got our license to sell in over 40 states.
Oh, wow.
Yes, so super exciting. We're waiting until after harvest to set that beast free because we'll be packaging it ourselves. But for Front Range dwellers, you can get our wines at Divino and South Broadway. That is one of our favorite shops.
David, I just took him there and introduced him to David the other day.
Nice.
Remember that liquor store on
think I went
South
in.
Broadway? Oh, you didn't? Okay.
You need to
He's
go
going
in
to get
next
on.
time.
David's going to get on the show. I've known
that
him for a
store is
while
amazing.
since
They've
he
got
opened
the
his
nerdiest,
doors.
spirit collection. I will go and get chrysanthemum honey liqueur, and it's just amazing.
Well, it's funny because Brian, we were like, okay, we need to stop by a liquor store real quick, and there's probably 14. But he was like, I'm going to go drive to this one. So
it's the
Well,
one.
I like a
destination.
special tequila called Fortaleza,
Oh, yeah.
which
Oh, yeah.
Josh has right here, and he's
Nice.
been able to make sure that's happened for me all night here.
We
Thank
have
you.
one tequila. It's Fortaleza.
Yes,
think I
that
might
is
have
mine.
some,
Yeah.
For to Brian.
Yep.
Nice.
You guys, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Oh, my God, I can't wait to just follow
What a
them. I mean,
pleasure.
Awesome.
I'd say good luck, but continued success.
Yeah,
Thank
keep
you so
making
much.
it
That's
in
really
the
We'll
where it
take
is.
some
Yeah.
luck. We've got the frost season coming up, so we'll take some luck.
You
Hey,
guys.
I have a question real
Yes.
quick.
Jay,
are
you don't drink.
No, I
You
don't.
have no questions.
Are you a little bummed out about the silvers? You just want to
Oh, my
run
gosh.
through the gold, getting the golds and you're high-fiving and all that stuff. But isn't it there's this weird little OCD thing in the back of your head where you're going, all golds would have been pretty sick,
I think anyone would say that,
So
but
Jamie and I actually, the night before the awards got announced, we were up late drinking our wine,
Sipping,
and
tasting.
we were like, okay, let's do this. So we wrote out all 7 of the wines, and we each went off into a corner, and we're like, what are these wines going to get? we each took our turn and wrote what we thought and compared them together, and a couple of them were spot on. We got a
But
couple
I
of the
voted
choices
for some
right.
bronzes just to let you know. I was like, oh, that's really going to be a bronze.
You guys are adorable. I got to just say that right now. Hanging out with you two really change your mind, get you in a good mood. I'm in a great mood right now hanging out with you guys. Okay, cool. Blaine's coming up next, finally?
Right. Yeah, Blaine's Tomato and Farm Stand.
That's right.
He will be here.
He grows a ton for us. Can't wait to talk to him.
Blaine's coming up next. Bin 707, and this is what I wish that every customer that walks through the door, that they're able to have this kind of knowledge of what you actually do.
And passion.
And just truly, I mean, and I don't know how you can accomplish it. I guess, the word gets out and people know, but that's what we're here to do, is get the word out. Sorry, I know you don't. You're like, yeah, we're just fine here in Grand Junction, but I think you'd appreciate some new folks.
I love it.
Oh, we'll always take that. All of us will, for sure.
Amen.
Yeah.
Well, and it's just, and I know it's hard as a businessman, I got to tell you, or woman, to really always make sure that our story gets told in the way that we want it told. I mean, I think that's been one of the things that why I attached to the Modern Eater in the way that I did, because for so many years I've been telling the story of the farmer. And, now I have a larger platform. And that's, so now you all have always been in that for me, and all I can say is how you do it. I know it's such a hard thing to let everyone know, every person that walks through Josh's door, of the wine that he serves, of where he gets his food, his sourcing practices, and his beliefs. It's one of the hardest things. I mean, to make sure that's consistent. It was funny watching.
Nah, don't start another story. We have to take.
I know we have to take.
I was about to tackle
Thank
your
you.
story.
I know.
Thank you so much.
It's
been fun.
By the way, 1985, there was growing tomatoes. Let's just go to commercial.
But it's all about the story. You're
really,
right.
and these guys don't do it to take a bow. They don't.
No.
It's really just cut and dry to them. It's what they believe in, and it's what they do, and they'll continue to do that no matter what. I know that. All right, we'll take a break. We'll come right back. Bin 707, Grand Junction, Colorado, the Modern Eater on the road.
Choose your path.
We're live in 245.
Don't forget to check us out on Instagram
Thank you, sir.
and Facebook for all the fun photos and videos. Just search The Modern Eater or check out the website, themoderneater.com.
Would you take $100 and throw 80 of it away? If you're taking drugstore vitamin tablets, that's exactly what you're doing, because 80% of those tablets are not being absorbed. Hi, I'm naturopathic Dr. Dennis Black, creator of Texas Superfood. Many of you take Texas Superfood and feel great, but some people tell us they just don't like the taste of green powder, or they have a problem swallowing capsules. That's why we created our new line of great-tasting liquid supplements. Go to TexasSuperfood.com/liquid. From multivitamins to products for energy, sleep, joint care, and more, our liquid supplements offer the highest absorption rates available anywhere, up to 96%. Imagine waking up after a great night's sleep feeling rested and ready to handle the day with endless energy and clarity. Stop wasting your money on drugstore vitamin tablets that don't work. Get absorbable liquid nutrition from the name you trust, Texas Superfood. Visit TexasSuperfood.com/liquid to get 20% off. Go to TexasSuperfood.com/liquid. Go to TexasSuperfood.com/liquid now.
Hey guys, Chris Johnson here, owner of Rome Sausage, your hyper-local source for all things sausage awesomeness. My family is proud to carry on the fine traditions of Rome's founder, Jerry Rome, by producing a variety of amazing sausage in small batches with an eye on quality, not quantity. Every batch is made here in the great state of Colorado by hand mixing spices, utilizing lean cuts of pork to make an outstanding product. Sourcing ingredients and materials locally, we are committed to supporting local vendors, chefs, restaurants, and the entire Colorado food.
1 minute to the live.
Yet, brats, Italian, breakfast, hot Polish, green
Thank you,
chili,
1 minute.
chicken apple, and the world's best chorizo. You can source all of our sausage through a variety of food service distributors. If your distributor doesn't carry it, call us. We'll come direct. You want a custom item? We'll do that too. Samples, and of course, sausage jokes, can be had by contacting me directly at chris@romesausage.com or by phone at 303-296-7663. The Modern Eater loves Rome sausage, and I know you will too.
Wear black and eat spices. Hey, Modern Eater listeners, this is Zach from The Spice Guy, Colorado's favorite spice company. Spice is the variety of life. At The Spice Guy, we have a passion for sourcing the best ingredients from the best farmers all over the world.
Greg, I'm going to open up you and Freeman. You guys are going to be hot to Facebook.
Let us
Which
create and blend custom flavor profiles
Thank
for whatever
you,
style
Jay.
of food
Thank
it is that
you.
you're working with. With over 1,000 restaurants, food brands, and chefs behind us, you can't go wrong when you choose The Spice Guy for all your spice needs. The Spice Guy.
Spicy.
4, 3, 2. You're hot.
Okay, back to Bin 707 and Josh Niernberg in just a moment here, but I have to tell you what. I love Colorado craft beer. Brian, do you?
Do I love beer?
Jay, if you were drinking, you would.
Yeah. I'm thinking about starting again right now.
Right now. I don't blame you, but I do want to ask you, listen, there are so many places, if the wheels are coming off your tap systems and you just need to get a refresher, this is the guy to be able to do it. Maintain and service your tap lines. He'll also do custom installs. A-Plus Beverage Solutions, Jeff and Kristen Rourke. It's a family-owned and operated business, 20 years in the business. And again, installing specialty tap installations. They just got done redoing the Monarch Casino, and they're real proud of that one. But chances are, if you're in Colorado, you've had beer from Jeff Rourke.
Yeah, or half of the
Solutions.
country right now. I mean, they're in a place that's all over the place. Where are they?
A lot
Punch
of
Bowl
places.
Social, man,
Yes.
all over.
A lot of Old Chicago, Resolute Brewing Company, Tap 14, brews, beers. The list goes on and on. The point is that you want the beer to taste exactly the way the brewer intended it to taste, and Jeff Rourke's going to make sure that happens through his tap lines. Give him a call because truly, you know this. We all know this. Foam is money. If you're pouring inefficient beer, what are you doing, boys?
You're pouring your money down the drain.
Don't pour your money down the drain. It's a phone call away. Get a pen, Brian, right now.
I will. 1 second.
Okay.
Say it once. Yep.
720-272-3809. Once again.
Please, thank you.
720-272-3809. It's Jeff Rourke in A-Plus Beverage Solutions.
Hey, this is Brother Luck from Colorado Springs. All right, you ready? Owner of 4 by Brother Luck and Lucky Dumplings. I mean, he's a very, very impressive man. And you're rocking with the Modern Eater on iHeartRadio.
Okay, cool. Back at it. We've got just the final home stretch here and covering a lot of ground, I know. But what a treat to be able to highlight a lot of these great purveyors that Josh Niernberg is working with here, Bin 707 in Grand Junction, Colorado. This is I can't wait to jump into this story, but I want you to do the introduction again, Josh, if you would.
So we're about to talk to Blaine of Blaine's Tomatoes and Blaine's Farm Store. Blaine's Tomatoes they've kind of taken on a name for themselves, especially out here, but even on the Front Range, and working with Five for the last couple of years, every single person I work with on the team is asking how they can get more of Blaine's tomatoes, which is awesome because Blaine doesn't particularly love his tomatoes, and everything else he grows from me is way better than his tomatoes. But so anyway, this is Blaine.
Hey, Blaine.
Hey.
Good to see you.
Yeah.
And you were hanging out with Alex Liverati over there. The stories that you two were talking about back and forth.
Fascinating stuff there, man.
Probably not arable at all. Whatever those
It was all proper stuff, man, I'm telling you. But, it was all geeky tomato stuff.
Really?
Food
Where did you
porn.
begin?
Yeah,
Start.
totally.
Talk about
Well, we were speaking about, how interesting the chain of distribution is for, primary, secondary, and what the reasons for a tomato, what the criteria are for a tomato to be sellable, and how it's insane that just by missing a little criteria that you're now not sellable anymore. And we were speaking about the sweetness and the difference between tomatoes in Italy and the soil and, the sweetness in Italy and over here and, all the different techniques of growing. It was really, really enlightening to speak with someone so passionate.
Are you a tomato fan, Alex?
Aren't you a tomato fan?
You don't like a San
Aren't we all
Marzano?
tomato? I got a San Marzano here, bro. This
love it.
gentleman here, he grows San Marzanos, man. I'm telling you, this is it, man. So, yeah, totally.
I need a firm tomato. That's just me. I need a firm
Get
tomato.
out of here.
I do. If I cut into a tomato and it's
firm tomato right there.
Oh, that's a
It's
beautiful
a
tomato.
variety, Greg. And let's have Blaine tell us about that because you want some tomatoes that are firm, but you want some others that are softer. It's about the varietal
No,
of tomato.
I get it.
man.
And so for me, when I really like a tomato, first of all, is just cutting it open and eating a piece of tomato is great to me. Beyond that, on a sandwich, a good tomato on a sandwich can make or break a sandwich. But I don't want all that tomato juice on my bread.
You and me are exactly alike.
It grosses me out.
Right. That's what I always ask people is like, what do you want a tomato for? And if you want a tomato for a good BLT, you don't want the bread to be soggy, right? And so like that one right there we call guindo is a burgundy tomato. In Spanish it's guindo. And it's hard. It's it has a thick skin and it also it's not real juicy.
I want a meaty.
It's meaty, exactly.
I want a meaty tomato.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if you're making sauces or those types of things, who cares?
Yep.
Throw it. Throw it in there. So many. How many different types of tomatoes can you name, Josh?
I don't know if I can name any.
Stop it.
I mean, I could name a half dozen of the most popular tomatoes everybody knows about, but half of the stuff that Blaine grows and brings us is he's introducing me to stuff that I'm not familiar with on a regular basis.
Yeah, throw out some names of tomatoes.
You have Cherokee Purple, Green Zebra, German Johnson.
Are these marijuana varietals or no?
No. They're just good old heirloom hand-me-down tomatoes.
Are you doing any Marvel Stripe or anything like that? And I was going to take this in a different direction, actually, Blaine. Let me back up a second. What do you find? Well, first question: are you growing in soil? Are you growing hydro? Are you growing in a different kind of media? But second question: what do you find as your ideal varietal that really works well up here?
Okay, so first I do hydroponic. I do in coconut core.
Okay.
And in a greenhouse. So I have complete control over the nutrients and the water. I can make sure that I'm not putting too much water and making them too watery and not enough taste.
Thank you.
Yes, exactly. And
Appreciate that.
also, the worst tomato for me is one that's mealy, and that's the good thing about a greenhouse is you can control the environment and the watering. So,
what got you into this?
I had a horticulture degree from Colorado State University. I took a job right out of college in a greenhouse business. I had gone there to talk about, I was a horticulture club president, about raising money my last year of college, and I said, how do you make money for working for the club? And I walked into this greenhouse and the guy was like, what do you want to do? And I'm like, this. Because I grew up on a farm here in Grand Junction, and the worst thing about growing on a farm is the climate, and you have no control over it. And I walked into a greenhouse, and I was like,
this is it.
Whoa.
This is what I need in my
This
life.
is what I need, yeah, exactly. And so I did that for almost 10 years, and then I had an aha moment. I said I wanted to do it myself, and I moved back here. I had the fortunate circumstances that my dad had a 6-acre raspberry farm when I grew up. So the packing shed was there, the cooler was there, and all I needed to do was build a greenhouse. And
You got it done.
I got it done, yeah.
And then it's time to get to work.
Yeah, exactly.
And now
So-
you got Blaine's tomatoes.
And here I am, so.
That's good. I mean, sometimes it's that simple. You
Yeah.
know, sometimes it's that simple.
But you're doing other things, right?
Yeah.
And are
Absolutely.
you playing in the soil there, Blaine, or are you doing them in the hydro as well?
I'm doing it both because there are some things that do better in the soil, and there are some things that do better in hydroponics. And I can't knock either one of them because, I say anything from arugula to zinnias. So I do greens, I do sweet corn, eggplant, multiple different peppers, Jimmy Nardellos.
Amen.
Yeah, exactly.
Is that where the peppers came from?
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah, and I'm doing more hydroponic lettuce and tomatoes and cucumbers, but everything else is in the soil.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So how there you are and you're doing your thing, but people out here, they're listening and they go, okay, great guys, that's kind of a secret. I guess we could go to Josh's and have some dinner, but can I get this at a grocery store? Where can people get these?
I'm not big enough for grocery stores.
A local store.
Yeah, I've got my own fruit stand, Blaine's Farm Store.
Of course you do. Yes, you
It's
do.
open from May until the end of October.
Yeah.
And Blaine, where is it, just for the listeners out there?
It's off a highway between Palisade and Clifton. It's called Front Street, and we're open every single day. So
Open every
Good for you.
single
I love
day.
to hear that, man.
Yep, every day from May until the end of October. Yep.
Too much. So how do you get your product?
So
You go to the farm stand?
Blaine delivers product to us. We've been working together for years and years and really kind of tailoring some of the things that Blaine's growing specifically for us or maybe to our spec or what have you. So Blaine delivers to us. We order with him. We get an availability list every week. He comes and hand delivers the order himself. I believe Wednesdays, I think, has been working really well lately. And we're doing basically stops at Taco Party. We're either at Taco Party or here, so we get to see Blaine either one. And so he's growing stuff specifically for the menu that we're using at Taco Party. He's growing stuff specifically that we're using for the menu here. Like, for instance, I think we were talking earlier offline about the Badger Flame Beets. We had a conversation last December about the row 7 seeds Badger Flame Beets and asked Blaine if that was something he thought he could do well with. And they started ripening a couple months ago. We took them up to Aspen for Aspen Food and Wine and used them there. I'll be taking them to New York next week for the Denver 5, Colorado 5 at James Beard House dinner. And, some of this kind of specialty produce stuff that Blaine does has really enabled us to differentiate ourselves from everybody else throughout the state, because it's that one-on-one relationship with a farmer that's just able to do such fantastic
I got
produce
Blaine.
for us.
Pretty cool that you're actually sharing Blaine with the world now. Don't listen. Don't listen. Don't learn about Blaine.
I'll say it again. Blaine has a farm store. I think, as a matter of fact, I think we just talked about it. We did a 5280 article about the tour of the Grand Valley, and we were talking about stopping by the farm store and seeing all that bounty. So it is out there for the world to come and visit Blaine's farm store and share some of that bounty.
Mm-hmm. Well, but I would say, Josh, it's more about the relationship that you have with Blaine, because the reality is Blaine's not doing this for everyone.
Absolutely not.
Because of the relationship that you all have, you can come to him and say, this is the exact amount that I'm going to use. And by the way, if you come over 10% or under 10%, I'll deal with it. But that's something that's cool, that you've been able to work with somebody who's really, in a way that it's such a symbiotic relationship.
All of
the way food should be.
Oh, it absolutely is. Let me tell you an example. Blaine had mentioned that he's growing all kinds of different peppers, and yes, hot peppers, sweet peppers, everything in between. We opened, I'll say it again, we opened a taco shop down the street, and the first year we were open, we had all these fresh peppers that we were using all over the menu, and then the season came to an end. A couple months later, Blaine came back and said, look, guys, I dried all the leftover peppers I had at the end of the season in the greenhouse. Here's guajillos. Here's all these different dried red chilies that are local from Palisade.
And you're like, let's get down.
Local dried chilies? That's insane.
We got to get one last break in. We'll come back and wrap it up from Bin 707 right here in Grand Junction.
Choose your path through Cyberland.
Don't forget to check.
Okay, I made this super short, but it'll be a really short last segment though too. So
search the Modern
All right.
Eater, or check out the website.
If you ever need help with this.
Let me, when we
Hey,
come
Colorado
back,
chefs, Brian Freeman with
Jared,
Growers Organic
just
and the
pipe
Modern
in and
Eater
say
Show.
how long it is.
Care about where your food comes from?
Okay.
Thanks.
Loyalty from customers who care about that.
It looks like it'll be like 50 seconds to be honest with you.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all right.
With knowledgeable sales team who genuinely care about how food is grown, transported, and served. Chefs, Growers Organic will ensure you have excellent ingredients for your next James Beard dinner, your nightly specials, or your regular menu items. Join the organic revolution and go organic with Growers Organic. Look us up online at growersorganic.com.
Hey, chef friends, it's Little Rich here from Raquelitas Tortillas. Raquelitas, known for hyperlocal, innovative, and healthy tortillas and chips, served by Colorado's top chefs, and that's why we only use Colorado Mills sunflower oil. If you too want to serve the healthiest, most vibrant tasting foods, you must use Colorado Mills. Colorado Mills is hyperlocal, Colorado grown.
10 seconds.
Colorado. Whether you bake, fry, or saute, get your Colorado Mills today. Available through Shamrock, Growers Organic, and Dawn Foods. For the best oil in the business, use Colorado Mills.
Now it's time for the Modern Eaters Booze in the News segment.
I like my beer cold, my meat grilled, and my entertainment explosive.
Chair and a cooler beer.
Here's your news.
Oh, booze news. Wish we were doing that because time is limited, and I think we have enough time for thank yous and just all the way around. Josh, thank you for introducing us to these folks that are your family. This is your family.
Amen. Well, thanks for coming here. Thanks for the opportunity. It's a pleasure to be on the show.
So great. We're going to do this often. We need to do it at least once a year.
Deal.
Just come check up on you. Jay Parker, what great work you've done today, man. Fantastic.
Thank you.
Working really hard. Brian Freeman, as always, great job today at the Wine Festival, emceeing.
Oh, thank you.
Brian Eater and Alex Liberati. Thanks for taking the trip down here with us. And Josh Niernberg, my friend. Gosh, what a great time.
Yeah,
Thank
Ben
you so
707, Storm King, Blaine's Tomatoes and Farm Stand, Farm Runners. Hey, Grand Junction, Western Slope, thank you.
And we're out of here. We'll see you next time on the Modern Eater Show.